Well, we brought you all the latest from the University of Ghana campus and all the things that have been happening in terms of the riot or perhaps the fisticuff that happened between students of the Commonwealth Hall on one hand. We had also from Katanga KNUST and Mensa Saba Hall. So we have the SRC president here, University of Ghana, and Daniel Otingewa is here. Good morning to you, Daniel.
Good morning, Willan.
And as a student body, what have you done so far to make sure you keep the calm or you keep the peace?
Okay, so after the incident, some students were apprehended by the police and kept in custody. Now, myself and some hall management and then some old vandals went to the police station and make sure that we got those students out that same day. After that, we were able to talk to the security and we've been able to ensure that calm is back on campus. We are also, at the moment, planning counseling services for the students who happen to be in the video. So unfortunate. So far, that's what.
Because I know you have a counseling unit, right?
Yes. Yes.
Usually, how do you interact with such students or students generally to make sure that even though they could have some interactions with various halls and even other members of other halls from other universities, these things don't arise?
Yes. So usually what we do is that when we're having some of these programs, we have responsibility officers aside the leadership that is in charge of the program, and we make sure that we put everything in place. We have responsibility officers. Their duty is to sort of take the responsibility or the blame if the program goes awry. So what happened as we talked to the JCR president who are involved, myself, the SRC, and the organizers who are involved in anything that's going to happen on campus. And then we make sure that they interact with the student, whoever is going to be involved in the program itself, even if it has to be in the entire JCR body, I mean the entire hall, they engage them and let them know the do's and the don'ts of such an event.
But often you know that, well, members of these hall, because of the tradition, always have a certain composure or posture towards events and the way they interact. So some of these things could be preempted.
Yes, Roland, you see, the main point is that we started discussing this intellectual debate with the organizers last year. Now, it was fostered because we wanted to channel such energies of rivalry into something good.
Right.
So, for example, we realized that, the various also on the various university campuses want to feel supreme. But then we want them to feel supreme over something useful to society, to the university, and even to the country itself. So we wanted them to be able to brag over debates, over entrepreneurship challenges, over innovations. These were the purposes that fueled the breaking of the intellectual debate. So this was even the first time. After that, we were going to look at an entrepreneurship challenge as well. But then, unfortunately, that when we came to University of Ghana campus, then this rivalry turned into something else. To the same thing we are trying to stop turned into something we didn't want to happen.
We know all sorts of things that do happen. Sometimes it's within the student fraternity. And usually when such events, because sometimes we're students of the university or the various colleges, we tend to accept them as a norm. But to the extremities when they come to the plight of the public, it becomes a concern not only as human rights issues, but also on moral issues. We want you to watch a video that was captured, I believe, on camera. Mm-hmm. And perhaps I'll ask you some reaction to it.
Okay.
Just watch it.
I have seen the video.
So this person is a first year or a new or somebody?
He's a student of the university.
Okay. You're familiar with the student?
Yes, I've seen him once.
You've seen him once? Okay, you can identify his name. So why is he being bullied?
I don't know his name. The point is that, you see, this whole thing has a long story. At the moment,
is it related to the issue?
Yes. This is what actually caused everything. So we are actually waiting
So this one is a vandal?
That's a vandal.
Okay, and he was cornered somewhere in one of the halls?
Yes, he was going for lectures.
He's just an innocent passerby. That's
the point. That's the whole point. So, like I said, there are lots of rumors with regards to.
No, let's explain. Let's explain the video. Let's not.
Okay.
So he was just an innocent passerby.
Yes.
Not necessarily part of those who will be rowdy.
No.
But a member of Commonwealth or nonetheless.
Yes.
Okay. So those who accosted him decided to show him power.
Yes.
Sort of.
Sort of, as shown in the video.
Is the video having any sound? If we have sound, then perhaps we can amp it. Okay, okay. So now you shave him. Usually, that's what other student bodies would do. So he's being shaved because of what reasons? You have seen the video, so you may know some of the underlying currents.
Yes, I actually don't know the exact reason why they would shave, but I think shaving someone's hair off signifies a side of defeat.
Okay, so the activities as captured in the amateur video, what will you call it?
Well, like the kind of words that we can use to describe some
no,
of these
you're in school.
It's
mainstream media.
Very,
so,
but I just think
what words would you use to describe
it's very, very unfortunate and very, very
okay, so you think the activities in there are rather unfortunate?
Very, very, and it's been unacceptable on any University of Ghana.
The gentleman is being tortured, won't you say?
Yes, in a way, it's a little bit of a torture,
so you as
physically and
SRC
mentally.
head means that you had the Student Representative Council.
Yes.
When you look at some of these videos, you have identified the individual in the video. What do you do?
So like I said, usually when some of these issues happen, what we do is that we do welfare services. So the SRC has a welfare committee, and just as the incident happened, myself and her and the chairman in charge of the intelligence committee, we went to the police station and we've been following the event. So at the moment she's preparing welfare services for her. Like I said, the latest that she updated me on is that she's trying to link the student to the university's counseling and career and counseling center so that they offer some sort of counseling to him to ease him of trauma. That's what has happened.
The way you're smiling like it's normal. But
no,
we know that
normal.
all this was just around an event, the intellectual debate you called it. And you had been planning this since the better part of last year. And then it was supposed to come on. It came on?
No, it didn't.
What happened?
We postponed it. You see, because of this incident, even yesterday, there was supposed to be a football match between Mrs. Sabahol and Ekwafo. That one was also postponed for security reasons' sake. So immediately the thing happened. This whole incident came before the debate itself started on campus. So we were supposed to make sure that nothing happened. So we had to postpone it, and then we sent the student from KNUST back to their campus. So just to calm things on campus.
Okay, so the import of the debates was supposed to be a lecture to deepen what? Yes,
it was supposed to be an intellectual debate to establish, supremacy of ideas, of brainy movements, not just the supremacy that we see as to who is more superior than the other whole. We only wanted to channel that kind of rivalry to something productive for society.
You've spoken to the university authorities, haven't you?
Yes.
As SRC?
Yes, we've been speaking to them.
So how are you trying to bring a closure to the subject?
Well, there have been various meetings that have been happening since this incident. We are yet to meet the dean of students, but at the moment, the various JCR presidents have been asked to write a report as to what happened. Myself, I'll write a report as to what I have been following and hearing. Then we will go and sit, and then examine the issue. If we are able to identify culprits, then we will make sure that these persons will be brought to book. There are various sanctions that the university's disciplinary committee would mete out to all of them, whoever the investigation proves to be a culprit of the incident.
All right. So now you mentioned earlier you put together a body to make sure this is you try as much as possible to go into it. When are you sitting next?
Yes, the sitting next was supposed to be today, but that's I haven't had any confirmation yet.
Right.
Because
the way you were smiling, you kind of give me a certain predisposed position, as you're used to some of these things.
No, I'm not smiling because it's normal, just because I have a smiling face. But the point is that, like I said, we have already condemned the incident, and we have acknowledged that this is unacceptable on any campus in Ghana. So my smiley face has nothing to do with whether it is normal or not. We just believe that this is not anything that university students should engage in. Okay,
in your smiley face, what would you say you would do next when some of these things happen?
Well, we are not expecting some of these things to happen again. But
you said they do happen, so I'm asking next when it happens.
You know, like this is not the first time it has happened. Last year, same incidents happened at the University of Cape Coast. Even on my campus, there have been several incidences. But then What happens is that whenever there's a program, there's an event, we make sure that we make all the necessary security protocols. There have been times that we even have to involve police and national security and then the army. But then
the police, national security,
yes,
army, just for the University of Ghana or any other university campus. That's as serious as it can get.
I am speaking on behalf of the University of Ghana. I don't know about the other campuses.
Right.
Now, when some of these things happen, as usual, we don't rush in taking decisions, but then we make sure that we have the necessary details so that we don't enter into speculations. Whilst we are able to ascertain that this is the true fact and this is what happened, who did this and who did that, then the next action follows. But then as it stands now, we are officially waiting for the police investigation report before we take any next step.
Well, great. Which hall originally do you belong to?
It's Ikwafu Hall.
Okay, that's cool. Like,
yes.
Ikwafu Hall means you are...
Yeah, we are farmers, but that's cool.
No, that you guys are cool people.
We are cool.
Everybody in the university is a cool person. Okay. So, I've been speaking to the SRC president of the University of Ghana, the man with a smiley face, as he calls himself, and David Otingewa has been, I guess, telling us about what has been done, a student body on one side and the authorities of the university as well as the security agencies to make sure they bring calm onto the campus. We know the video we're showing you is a bit unfortunate. He said this was just a passerby, member of the Commonwealth Hall, they call themselves vandals, was tortured ultimately. If you watch the video further, you see that his hair ultimately was shaved off, but we're told that it's part of the event. The event that surrounded the thing, and we're getting this amateur video courtesy Universe TV, just the TV wing of the university. All right, done. Oh, David, thanks for joining me this morning.